So you can all start by coming down onto your back. Good morning, good morning. So just think about the back of the neck being long, the shoulder blades open and the sacrum resting heavily into the floor. And just take a moment to lie there. This morning's class is called Into Your Edges, and I've been thinking a lot about movement versus exercise recently and making sure we get enough different movements into our joints and multiple joints, but also making sure within each joint we're giving it a good sort of movement nourishment of the actual joint and not sort of leaving bits and movements out. So this flow, I want you to think about moving into all of the edges of the joints when we're moving, and just being conscious of the joints that you're moving when you're moving. That's a lot, but hopefully that will make sense. And also just thinking about, with every move, how much you're sort of stressing the body. You want a certain bit of stress, you don't want too much stress, because we want to challenge ourselves enough in order for our bodies to evolve and grow. So into the edges on that perspective as well. So start by coming down onto your mat, and just think about breathing first of all. So we're going to start to breathe into our bodies, and I want you to think about breathing into that low belly. Feel the diaphragm draw down as you inhale, taking up space, and feeling everything soften on your exhale. As you inhale, I want you to feel those ribs moving upwards, outwards, and backwards, again, into the edges of your breath. So you're moving this 360 degree movement. Sorry, just mute everyone. Good. And you're just feeling that dance between your inhale and your exhale. As you lie here, take a moment to tune into your body. Just notice how it feels this morning. Perhaps it's just got straight out of bed and feels a little sticky and stiff. Or maybe you're already feeling great. If you've got any tightness or tension, just take a moment to use your breath to send it around the body, moving that tension or tightness away. And then take a moment to tune into your mind this morning. Again, just noticing where that is. Noticing whether it feels busy or still, calm or anxious. Perhaps you've got a to-do list for the weekend ahead or the day ahead. Just try and let go of any unwanted thoughts, any negative thoughts. Pop them on an imaginary cloud and just let that cloud float past your eyes. Allowing yourself to be fully present, fully connected for the time that you're going to be on the mat. Nice. Last breath here. Breathing into the edge of that breath. That full expansion. And then we're just going to start to walk our hips. So think about the sacrum being heavy into the mat, and you're going to lift your left knee over your left hip, right knee over your right hip. So you're walking these feet, but we're working into the hip joint. The pelvis is staying steady and we're just moving in the hip joint. Good. Slow and controlled. One more. And then we're going to peel our bottom up, coming into our low bridge. And then we're going to, from here, think about doing the exact same thing. Glutes engaged though, so give them a prod, give them a tap, make sure they're tuned in this morning. And then you're going to start to walk your feet loaded. So again, your hips are flexing as you move left to right. Hip flexion is something we really lack. We often sit in hip flexion, but it's not active hip flexion. So actually the ability for us to flex our hips, because we're consciously or often sat all day, is quite limited. So we need to learn active hip flexion. Good. So you should be feeling this in the glutes as well. As you walk, you're going to take the right hand to the sky, pull back on the right fingers, moving up into these wrists and these finger joints. Again, some things that don't get much love but need a lot of love. Keep the stability through the midline of the core. Good. Then we're going to swap hands, pull the left fingers back with the right hand, push up to the ceiling with the same force. Keep those glutes engaged, keep that low back long so you're protecting it. Really spread through the fingers. Then you're going to keep the walking going, take your hands to fists and circle in those wrist joints both ways. Again, notice how it feels to circle in those wrists. Good. And then we'll go to our jazz hands. So you can pause the walking and just come to a little pulse as we start to do our jazz hands. So big stars, tight fists, and we're going to go as fast as we can. Again, we're really working into the fingers, so really squeeze those fingers tight, and then big stars as you open them. We're working into the forearm. Good, let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, shake it off, and then you're going to roll upper back, middle back, lower back, down to the mat. Interlace the hands behind the head, elbows frame the face. Inhale here, exhale, lift. Pull that low belly down and back. You're just hugging into the center line. The elbows are lifting up, weighting through the sacrum. Good. Inhale, slowly come down. Exhale, we lift. Remember, keep that pelvis in neutral. You want that little gap at the base of the spine. You're going to hover the knees this time. Inhale, come down. Exhale, we lift. Left leg extends, 70 degrees. Keep it high if this feels a lot. Keep the leg high. The lower the leg, the harder it is. Rebend the knee. Inhale, come down. Exhale, we lift. Right leg extends, 70 degrees. Push through the heel. Hug into the abdominals. If this also feels too much, you can bring that other foot down. So you don't have to have both feet hovered. Rebend the knee. Inhale, come down. Exhale, we lift. Left leg extends, twist to the right, lift up into those elbows. Remember, stay off that right shoulder. Hug into the midline, back to center, rebend the knee. Inhale, come down. Exhale, lift. Right leg extends, twist to the left, lift up into those elbows again. Good. Back to center, rebend the knee. Inhale, come down. Exhale, we lift. Left leg extends. Twist to the right and then swap the legs, swap the upper body. So you go right to left. Back to center, inhale, come down. Hopefully this is bringing some heat. We're really working into our obliques and our deep abdominals. Exhale, lift, right leg extends. Twist to the left, stay off the left shoulder. Twist to the right, swap the legs. Good. Hug into that belly. Back to center, inhale, come down. This time we're going to go for 4. So exhale, lift. Left leg extends, twist right, then we go left, swap the legs, right, swap the legs, left, swap the legs, right, swap the legs. Good job. Back to center, inhale, come down. Hopefully this is spicing up, I can feel it. Exhale, we lift. Right leg extends, twist left, and then twist right, extend the legs, twist left, swap the legs, twist right. Whew, one more, twist left. Back to center, knees into chest, just massage that sacrum around on the floor, and then we're going to rock and roll, okay? So what I want you to do in your rock and roll is try to come up to standing. So we're rocking on our backs, and then you're going to come forwards, if you can, up to stand. Sit back down. So this is a challenge for you if you guys can't do this. You want to be thinking about working on this. We're working into ankle flexion, hip flexion. There's a lot, ankle and hip mobility. There's a lot going on here. Do the last one, and if you haven't managed to come up to stand, don't worry, just bring yourself up to stand at the top of the mat. Think about feet hip distance apart. You're going to interlace your hands behind your back. I want you to have your elbows bent. We're not forcing the arms down yet, so interlace the hands, and then you're trying to pull them apart, so you should feel this opening through the chest. Make sure you don't flare through the ribs. Hugging those ribs in, pelvis is neutral. Take the gaze up, softly let the head come back, and then chin to chest. We're going to roll from the upper back all the way through. Down, we're hinging as we go, vertebrae by vertebrae, and then let those arms come to the sky, reach them away from your body, let the neck be loose, and then engage the glutes as you slowly restack your spine, coming back up to stand, pulling those fingers energetically apart again, gaze goes up, inhale, exhale, chin to chest, working through the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, rolling down, hinging at the hips, arms lift, squeeze between those shoulders, nice, release the neck, and then let the arms go, take the elbows, you're in a ragdoll, but your belly is sort of on your thighs, and you're really hinged in those hips, and then you're going to sway slightly from left to right. Nice. And then from here, just walk back to the middle of your mat, and then you're going to slowly bend your knees and lower to the floor, okay? A little challenge for you. We want to be able to get up and off the floor pretty much without our hands. So you're sitting on your toes at the moment. You're going to lift your knees, sit back into your heels, and sit back into a squat. Don't worry if you need to use your hands for this. So, and then slowly come forward, squeeze your bum, engage your abdominals, lift yourself up. Sit back down, lift up and over your ankles, sit into a squat, keep those heels on the floor, slurping the belly, and then lower, tapping the knees down, engaging the glutes, lifting up. Nice. Just rolling over those feet. If you need to use your hands to push yourself back, do. Try and stay low, and make sure you're as low as you can with your feet on the floor. Good. Roll forwards again. Last one. Squeeze the bum. Sit forwards. And then sit the bum back. Lift up and back into your squat. Nice work, guys. Coming back down to the knees. We're going to come into dolphin, so you might want to just shuffle back again down the mat. Interlace the hands, forearms on the mat, release the neck. Tuck the toes, lift up and out of the shoulders, bum is to the sky. Really slurp up into the pelvis, okay? The pelvis is the apex of the point of the pose. Imagine someone's pulling you almost from a strap in sort of around your pelvis area up to the sky. Take the left leg long, left heel to bum, and circle in that left hip joint 3 times one way, 3 times the other way. Keep lifting up and out of the mat. If this feels too much, just stay with your feet down and sort of learn to stabilize through the shoulders and build strength. There's nothing wrong with taking a regression of a pose if your body is going to be better off for it. Good. Swap sides. 3 times one way. Again, think about moving into those edges. As you move in that circle, are you moving into the full range of your hip? And then come down and just take a child's pose. Again, breathing back into the back body and breathe into the full expression of that breath. In and out through the nose, the back body expands, the ribs expand to the sky, the lungs expand to the sky. And then when you're ready, come and stand at the top of the mat. Nice work, guys. So we're going to start off by going into hip extension, okay? So soft knees, I want you to keep your pelvis neutral, and you're going to take your left foot back by squeezing your bum, okay? But we're not tilting forwards as we go back. The pelvis stays neutral. So you're getting this extension in the front of the hip. Tap it back in, take it back. Squeeze the bum. Keep the control. Small movement. It's not going to be a big movement. We only have about 10 degrees of hip extension. Good. Nice. Last one. Take it back, squeezing that glute. Step the foot back to the front. Hinge, send the bum back if you've got your blocks. Great place to use them. Hands onto the blocks. Left foot steps back. Lower the left knee. You're coming to your 90-90. Make sure the pelvis is again stacked over your knees, shoulders, neck. Everything's in a line. Squeeze this left bum cheek. And then you're going to take your arms forwards and up. Right hand takes the left wrist. Side bend over to the right. We're getting some flexion into our spine. Breathe into those left ribs. Keep hugging this right foot back as you squeeze this left glute. Good. From here, come back up, hands down, lift the back knee, rotate to the left of the mat, side lunge. Sit back into those glutes. Again, different plane of motion, getting something different into our bodies. Really sit back, so we're really finding length in the spine. Slurp the belly up, pull the ribs in. Nice, the bum is going back, the knees aren't coming forwards over the toes. Good. And then you're going to rotate back to the back of the mat, lower the knee, interlace the hands, and we're going to inhale here, exhale, twist to the left. So you're kind of pulling the hands apart as you twist to the left. Back to center, squeeze that right glute, push through those right toes. Good, we've got 2 more. Length in the spine, think about the position of the head. Nice work, guys. Last one, rotate. And then you're going to lift yourself up to a high lunge. So you're kind of in hip extension. And then, well, you are in hip extension, but in a high lunge. Left to hand takes right wrist, side bend this way. Really drive down through that back foot. Breathe into those side ribs. Get some space. Back to center, back foot steps in. Come up to stand, and we're going to go back the other way. So you should be facing the back of your mat right now. Soft knees, neutral pelvis length in the spine. Take the right foot back into extension, squeeze the bum, keep the pelvis in neutral. Tap it forwards, take it back. Find that openness through the front of the hip. Good. We've got 2 more, or maybe 3 more. 2023 should be the year I learn to count. Last one. Good, and then step to the top of the mat, hinge, lengthen the spine, the bum's going back, getting our hip flexion. Right foot steps back, lower the right knee, we're in our 90-90. Squeeze this right bum cheek, arms forwards and up, side bend, left hand takes right wrist, and we side bend over to the left. Really find space in that right body. Breathe, release the neck. Good, come back up. Rotate to the right, side lunge, sit back into those glutes, working the hamstrings here. Slurp the belly, make sure you've got space in that hip joint. You're not crushing the front of the hip space. Rotate to the back of the mat, lower the left knee, back to your 90-90. Squeeze this left bum cheek. Hands are interlaced again. The fingers are like trying to pull apart. Think about the position and lengthen the spine, and inhale here, exhale, twist to the right. Back to center, twist to the right. Again, you're holding your pelvis steady as you move your upper body, getting some rotation in that upper back. Again, we need this. Breathing as you go. Last one. Come back to center, arms lift, high lunge. Keep that soft knee, that soft back knee, so that you can keep your pelvis in neutral and not pitched forwards. Good. Right hand takes left wrist, side bend over to the right. Breathe into those left side ribs. Come back up, back foot steps in. Good. We're going to do kind of an add-on and keep going. So, neutral pelvis, step that left hip back to extension, then bring the left knee to the chest in flexion. So step it back, squeeze the glutes, and then lift. But keep the pelvis in neutral. So as you lift, you're not tucking under and getting false hip flexion. You're only lifting as high as your hip flexors will allow. Good. Think about the position of the spine. Again, think about moving in this joint. We're moving it. Flexion and then extension. Well, extension back, flexion forwards. Good. Hover it and then take that left leg back. You're going to come into a warrior 3. If this feels too much, bring your hands to blocks. Hold on to the wall. Do whatever you need to do. Bring your hands to the floor. But challenge, whoops, she says, challenge your balance. So push through that top leg, lengthen the spine. Really think about that position. And then slowly lower the back foot, lower the left knee. We're coming to our 90-90 again. Lovely, guys. Squeeze that left bum cheek. Let's roll the shoulders. So again, nice big ball and socket joint. It needs some love. So think about lifting forwards, up, back, pulling it back and down. So you're really getting full movement into that shoulder. We're actually moving the scapula around the back of the body at the moment as well. So we're really getting a bit of movement across the full shoulder joint. Good. Nice. And then hands to the mat. Rotate to the left. We're coming back to our side lunge, left to right. We're going to add in a thoracic rotation. So right hand comes down as you sit into your left thigh, left arm up. Sit into the right thigh, left hand down, right arm up. So you're just getting that extra bit of movement into the upper back, hopefully making it feel lovely. Try if you can, rather than taking the hand all the way over to the foot, I want your hand actually to be in the middle, and then you're rotating from the middle rather than just touching left to right on the toes, because it's very easy actually to not get a great deal of rotation doing that. Good. And then we're going to rotate to the back of the mat. We're coming straight to our high lunge, arms lift, and then you're going to go from high lunge to a crescent lunge. So you're tilting forwards, you're flexing this left hip, and then you come back up and come forwards to crescent. The arms fly back, lengthen the spine, slurp the belly, lift up, upper body comes forwards, send the arms back. Good, 2 more. Make sure you come to that neutral position each time. Re-establish, last one. Good. And then you're going to push off that back foot, come up to stand, and then you're going to take your right foot, cross it over your left thigh. Again, if you need to hold on to something, you're coming to figure 4. Don't worry if you need to have your hands on the floor, you need to grab whatever's near you. And just think about lengthening the spine. You're opening into this outer hip. And again, it should feel super yummy. Very easy place for us to get very tight. So breathing into that, the edges of that hip. Good. And then release. And we're going to go back the other way again. So starting soft knees, feet through the floor, step back to extension, keep that neutral pelvis, and then knee to chest. Step back to extension, squeeze the bum, knee to chest. Lengthen the spine. Think about the control as you move, and think about taking your body into those ranges. So extension, flexion. Being conscious that we're actively moving through these different places. Good. Last one, knee to chest, and then send that right leg back, lengthen the spine. We're coming to our warrior 3. Make sure the pelvis is level towards the floor. Reach through that back heel so you create engagement through the full body, what she says. And really load that left glute. Lengthen the spine. If you need arms out to help stabilize, or you can take your arms forwards. Good. And then you're going to lower that back foot, lower that back knee, and then we're going to roll those shoulders again. So get some juicy shoulder rolls. Good. Feel that scapula moving forwards and up. Good. Round and round. Nice, pulling it up and back. Good. And then land the hands, rotate to the right, and we're going to do our thoracic rotation in our side lunges. So left to right, hand goes down to the middle, and you're rotating from the upper back. Good. Keep the neck in line with the spine. Good. And then rotate back to the top of the mat. You come up to your high lunge, soft back knee, lengthen the spine. Reach through the fingers, breathe, and then from here again, we do our crescent. Come back up, come to crescent, come back up, come to crescent. We've good. Really think about loading that right glute as you hinge back as you come forwards. Good. Neutral pelvis, and then load. Good. And then from here, step that left foot forwards, into flexion, and then cross it over the right thigh, hinge back, open into that right hip. Again, if you've got blocks, if you've got a wall, if you've got a chair, use whatever you need. Breathe, lengthen the spine, slurp the belly, and again, breathe into the edges of that hip. It might feel super tight, it might feel less tight than the other side, just observe. Big full breaths. Again, you're still breathing into the edges of your breath, in and out through the nose. Nice. And then from here, release.